So this week I was going to make a video on the world of Red Dead Redemption 2 since I finally managed to finish the story missions. However, this world is just so damn big. I'm going to need some extra time to gather all my thoughts together, to think about the game overall, actually write it and all that yada yada yada. It's like gathering cattle on a ranch, which is a little bit of a Red Dead joke there. Sorry. Anyway, there's a lot to unpack and analyze is what my point is. So I'm going to be doing that one a little bit later after I've had some more time to think about it. So what have I been playing recently? Seriously, I've been playing a lot of Tetris. I used to play this game a lot when I was young at my grandma's house. She had some crappy little electronic game which only played a Tetris knockoff and a whole bunch of annoying 8-bit noises. My grandma hated this thing, but I loved it. That was 20 years ago. I've played a Tetris game here and there like most people, but never have I been hooked on Tetris like this. It's like it's the 1980s all over again. Tetris is one of those grand old darlings of video games. Created by Alexei Panatov, I've probably got that really wrong, in 1984. He designed a simple game to train some AI he was developing in Moscow. A little while later, and after some licensing shuffling and issues, Nintendo bundled it with their new Game Boy handheld, and the rest, they say, is history. Game Boy was a huge hit, Tetris along with it. As Dutch games publisher Henk Rogers put it, Tetris made Game Boy and Game Boy made Tetris. Since then, Tetris has become more than just a game. It's part of the very fabric of gaming culture. Everyone who plays games knows what Tetris is. It's one of the ancient giants of video games. Recently, the gaming world has had two high-profile Tetris games to chew on. The Tetris Effect by Monstars Inc. and Resonair, a psychedelic reimagining based on the idea that playing Tetris will create tetronymal ghosts which you will see in the world around you out with the game. And the second is Tetris 99 by Arika on the Nintendo Switch. This came out of nowhere. Nintendo, being Nintendo, announced Tetris 99 during their February 13th Direct, which was also available that day for free. It's classic Tetris, following blocks, gradually increasing speed, complete lines being cleared away, you know, Tetris. I don't need to explain the core mechanics here. What makes this different is the 99 part. You see, there are other players playing along with you, 99 of them to be exact. And every time they clear a line, that line gets sent to someone else, which after a few turns will appear at the bottom of their screen. It's basically Tetris Battle Royale. The player will get the classic dopamine hit from clearing lines perfectly or fitting that S shape into that tricky space. But the player will also get that extra satisfaction from knocking out other players and giving them extra lines and causing them to top out and lose their game. At first it can seem that this is a simple and kind of shallow idea, capitalizing on the current battle royale trend in gaming at the moment. But play a couple games and it becomes clear that there is a deeper strategy at play. At the top of the screen there are 4 options of attack which can be selected by the player: randoms, KOs, attackers, and badges. These allow the player to choose where their cleared lines can be sent. Starting the game and selecting KOs, sending your extra lines to these other players who are close to losing their game, can be a great way to earn badges which allow the player to increase the percentage of cleared lines which are then sent to their next target. Attackers and randoms are pretty self-explanatory, but badges are where the real strategy lie. This targets the players who have had the highest knockouts in this particular round, and if you manage to knock them out, well, you get all of their badges, giving you the damage boost to pass on to others. Defeating one of these players can be hugely rewarding, making the player feel like they've just beaten the biggest fish in the pond. There are other techniques and strategies, like how you can assemble blocks to stack the game in your favor so that you clear multiple lines one after another, or just by clearing consecutive lines in a row, or the classic way of clearing multiple lines in one go and getting the classic Tetris award. That's where you clear 4 lines at once with one of the long, thin pieces. The seemingly simple and shallow modification to the classic Tetris game has suddenly become incredibly complex and strategic. This is something which always could have been said about Tetris. Just adding in the competitive element hasn't suddenly elevated Tetris to a new level. What this does do is show how complex Tetris has always been. Instead of hiding its complexity under hours of play, drip feeding the player new mechanics with every level, it brings that front and center. Wanting to win is a basic human trait which has always been part of how we play any game, not just video games. Adding it to Tetris exposes this depth, and it's fitting that this was published by Nintendo. This is something that they've always excelled at, making simple, complex games. I've been Scott, thanks for watching.